You have been told your whole life that the stock market is the best way to build wealth. 10% returns, compound interest. Set it and forget it. And if you believe that story without checking the math underneath it, you are leaving a fortune on the table. Turns out, a $500,000 property appreciating at just 3% can mathematically outperform a $500,000 stock portfolio growing at 7%. And the reason why will make you question every personal finance article you have ever read. But before the numbers that prove it, let me expose the lie baked into the returns everyone keeps quoting. The S&P 500 has historically returned around 10% per year. You have heard that 1,000 times. Except that number is nominal. Adjust for inflation, which has averaged around 3%, and your real return drops to about 7%. Already less impressive than the headline. Yet even 7% is generous because it assumes you are a robot. No panic selling during crashes, no chasing hype during booms, no emotional decisions. Behavioral finance research shows the average investor actually captures somewhere between 4 and 5% annually. Not 10, not 7, half of what they were promised. Because the market does not punish bad strategy, it punishes bad psychology. Now that you see the stock market's real number, here is the number that changes everything about real estate. Home prices in the United States have appreciated at roughly 3 to 4% per year. Inflation adjusted, that is barely above flat. If that is all you look at, stocks win easily. But that is not all you should look at. Because when you buy a stock, you put up $1 to control $1. When you buy real estate, you put up 20 cents to control $1. That 5-to-1 leverage ratio fundamentally changes the math. Here is what that looks like with real numbers. You have $100,000. In stocks, it grows at 7% real return. After 20 years, you have about $386,000. Genuinely impressive. Instead, take that same $100,000 as a 20% down payment on a $500,000 property. At just 3% annual appreciation, that property is worth roughly $900,000 after 20 years. Your gain is $400,000 on a $100,000 investment. That is a 400% return on your actual cash. But if you stop here, you are only seeing half the picture. Real estate has hidden costs, and they matter. Real estate has carrying costs that stocks simply do not. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs. These typically run 2 to 3% of the property's value every single year. On a $500,000 property, that is $10,000 to $15,000 annually. Over 20 years, you could spend $200,000 to $250,000 just keeping the asset alive. That $400,000 gain suddenly looks more like $150,000 to $200,000 in real net profit once you subtract those costs. And right when stocks start looking like the obvious winner, there is a counterattack most people completely overlook. If that property is a rental, everything shifts. A $500,000 rental property in most markets generates $1,800 to $2,500 a month. Even at the low end, that is over $400,000 in gross rental income over 20 years. Subtract vacancies, management fees, and expenses, and you are still netting $200,000 to $250,000 in cash flow on top of the appreciation. Your total return lands somewhere between $350,000 and $450,000 on that original $100,000 investment. And here is the part that makes it unfair. While you were building wealth, your tenant was paying down the mortgage for you. Stocks compound without friction. Every dollar earned gets reinvested instantly. No transaction costs, no maintenance calls, no tenants, no 2 a.m. phone calls about a broken water heater. Run those numbers over 40 years instead of 20, and that $100,000 stock investment at 7% real return becomes nearly $1.5 million. Real estate with leverage is powerful over 20 years. Stocks with patience are devastating over 40. And there is one more layer the sophisticated investors use to tilt this game even further. Real estate gives you depreciation. You deduct the theoretical decline in your property's value from your taxes every year, even while the property is going up. Then there is the 1031 exchange. which lets you defer capital gains indefinitely when you sell one property and roll into another. Stocks have their own move. Hold them until death, and your heirs inherit them with a stepped-up cost basis. Those decades of gains? Effectively tax-free for the next generation. Both asset classes have powerful tax weapons when used correctly. The debate itself is the trap. The question was never which asset class is mathematically superior in the abstract. The real question is which one is superior given your capital, your timeline, your involvement level, and your specific situation right now. Under $50,000 to invest? Stocks win mathematically. You cannot get meaningful leverage in real estate without taking on reckless risk at that level. $100,000 or more and willing to be hands-on for 10 to 20 years? Real estate with rental income has a seriously strong mathematical case. Want completely passive wealth over 30-plus years? The frictionless compounding of stock index funds becomes almost impossible to beat. Instead of picking sides, the smartest investors use both. Real estate in the accumulation phase, where leverage multiplies returns. Stocks in the preservation phase, where simplicity and liquidity matter more than leverage. Studies on millionaire wealth composition consistently show that those who hold both real estate and equities significantly outperform those locked into one or the other. The math of diversification between these two, when structured right, reduces your risk while improving your returns. So stop asking which asset wins in every situation. Start asking which asset fits your money, your risk, your timeline, and your discipline right now. Because wealth is not built by copying the loudest voice online. It is built by knowing the math before the herd does. Drop in the comments which side you are on right now: real estate, stocks, or both.